From cloud procurement and enablement to managing relationships with hyperscalers, distributors have become masters of the digital realm for their vendor and solution provider partners. In this episode of Beyond Distribution with GTDC podcast, TD Synnex executives Reyna Thompson, President of North America Distribution, and Jessica McDowell, Senior Vice President for North America Marketing and Digital Customer Success, share insights on that critical topic with host Frank Vitagliano. The trio discussed the tools and programs that enable the channel today, including the latest digital platforms. Thanks for listening.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to our next episode of Beyond Distribution. I am thrilled today to have two individuals from the largest distributor on the planet, TD Synnex. Reyna Thompson, President of North America, and Jessica McDowell, the Senior Vice President of North America Marketing and Digital Customer Success. So welcome, Reyna and Jessica.
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. And let me start by congratulating both of you. I know it's been a little bit of time since you took your new jobs, but still close enough to still be able to congratulate you. So terrific. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
So, both of you are obviously been in the space for a while and you're very well known, but the way we usually like to start these is just talk a little bit about your professional journey and then your current, roles and responsibilities. So Reyna, let me start with you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So stepped into the role of North America President just last December. So as you know, I have responsibility for the strategy and operations for North America for TD Synnex. I joined the Synnex organization in 2002 as part of an acquisition, Gates Arrow, and really been in this industry over 30 years in every role you could possibly imagine. And I tell you, what a time to be in distribution. So I'm thrilled to be leaving the organization at this time. Really with a focus on empowering our coworkers and partners on how do you navigate all this change? How do you succeed and win? Again, and distribution has shown that we can be nimble and flexible and address all the pivots that happen along the way. And we're certainly in one of those in those times in our market where we sort of have to do it again. So love it.
Yeah, no question. In fact, I think I tell people, and I've been in it. I say over 30 years too, Reyna, but in my case, it's a lot more than over 30 years, but I won't admit to it. But I couldn't agree more. I think it's the most interesting and exciting time that I can remember just because of the convergence of the change in technology, the change in business models, the change in how we get to customers. It's incredible. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Jessica, let me go to you and ask you to also just comment a little about your professional journey and your current role.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm coming up on my 17th year at the company. I've served in several roles. Sales, I was in vendor management for the better part of a decade. And in that role, I was responsible for our security and networking business. In December, I transitioned into my current role where I lead our North America marketing and digital team. So really in this role, a very strong focus on and delivering a streamlined go-to-market approach, right? Working very closely with our business unit leaders, the sales organization, vendor management teams to execute against a broader strategy while also bringing them various ways to deliver that out to the market. So, I also lead our commercial digital strategy, which is of course embedding digital buying vehicles into the organization and creating an elevated digital buying journey for our partners. So all in all, a huge focus on just a modern marketing approach, right? Ensuring that we're meeting the demands of the market, not only right now, but setting ourselves up for relevancy 3, 5, 10 years from now.
Yeah, no question. And it's become Jack's better. I mean, it's become table stakes. If you're not doing it, you're in trouble.
That's right.
Well, here's one of the things that's, I think, heartening and really significant is both of you have significant amount of experience in distribution and in the various roles. And I found over the years, the folks that try to come into distribution that don't have that level of experience struggle, just because it's a very complex, business with, frankly, not a lot of room for error, right? And so it's that experience is good. And certainly, Reyna, you and I over the years have worked closely together, probably starting when I was with IBM, I think, back then. Yeah. Which was now 20 years ago, by the way. I hate to admit that, but it was. Yeah. So, Reyna, you mentioned December. So you've been in the role now for 7 months. And what are some of your thoughts? Like, what are you most proud of accomplishing over the last 7 months? Because I know you guys, you've had to hit the ground running, as you always do in distribution. And then obviously, I'm sure you've got some goals and things that you're thinking about moving forward. So give us your thoughts a little bit on that.
I'll tell you, I am overwhelmed with how partners, the channel, and internally how I've been embraced and accepted. It was tough assuming this role from Peter. It was a 40-year veteran. I have some time under my belt. So I've been overwhelmed with how I've been received. So that's certainly helped. I'll tell you what, I'm also pretty pleased and excited how the organization has united. It's years after our merge. We've done all the work with the systems and the processes, and culturally, this has really been the opportunity to align around how we want to do business, what our mindsets are, who we want to be. And so I think you're going to hear quite a bit from us around how we want to innovate, the fact that we want to be sort of the distributor of choice when it comes to innovation, collaboration, and really how we drive operational excellence. So I'm really very proud of how that's been integrated into our culture and how it's being executed. But more importantly, I think I'm pleased of how we've executed on our focus in helping our partners transform in this sort of digital era. Think about what we've announced this year, digital bridge, and this gives us an opportunity to integrate better with our partners. You saw the announcement at Appian. That's a huge one for us, but we were working on our platform capability, platform integration with Stream One. We've recently announced an update to our traditional community program called Partner Link. So it's really expanding how we reach partners, how we enable partners, meeting them where they are with their capability, and helping enable them with tools and programs to be able to compete in this new market. And also, we've recently announced our partner loyalty program. Jessica can that's her brainchild. She can touch on that.
Excited about that, yes.
Yeah, I'm very proud about that. But again, if innovating and being a pioneer in some of these critical areas is important to us, then we've got to execute and be out in front with some of these things. So I'm pretty proud of that this year.
Yeah, as you should be. And the other thing that I think you should also be proud of is the fact that the core business, the basics that have to get done every single day, which, by the way, I've been saying for a long time, get taken for granted, frankly, in the distribution landscape, right? Which one of the things that frustrates me, because I watched it for years on the vendor side, the things that you guys do every day that people don't appreciate, you still got to get that done every day, right? And on top of that, make the investments in the future, because if you don't, you'll end up getting disintermediated, which people have been saying is going to happen for the last 40 years, hasn't happened, and in my opinion, never will happen, right? For this exact reason. So I applaud you for thinking about it that way.
Yeah, well, those things have become table stakes, Frank, right? Operation, being able to have operational excellence embedded in your kind of culture, that's number one. That's 1A.
Yeah. Yeah, at scale, right?
At scale,
yeah.
absolutely. We can't, it doesn't matter what innovation we launch if we can't deliver an order efficiently, and be available and have excellent support for our partners, that gets lost. Which is again what has really driven a lot of our announcements this year with Digital Bridge and some of the other things that I just talked about.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Jessica, pivoting over to you for a minute. Reyna mentioned certainly the digital distribution, the platform business, which we all knew was coming, but it's here. And it's here
Absolutely.
big time. Talk a little bit about that, and also a little bit about just the changes that we're seeing in the ecosystem with all the different players in the system and who you're working with, and the approach that you now have to take to marketing that maybe we hadn't seen in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's obviously a number of things to consider. I think customers want a digital experience. They want ease of transaction. They want to be able to find information easily when they search for it, and they want an elevated customer experience. So that is so much of where we are focused as an organization. It's speed to market, it's execution, it's improving operations, it's doing all of the table stakes things that Reyna just mentioned, but it's also creating an exciting experience for the customer to be able to come and purchase through us. So that's a lot of the investments that we're making, certainly from a platforms perspective, and certainly from a marketing perspective, because I think when you think about platforms and you think about this digital experience and then you weave marketing into it, there's this other element in terms of how buyers of the future want to purchase. They want to get their information digitally, and they want to consume products digitally. But I think that we also have to remember at the root of all of it is humans, right? Yes, we're moving into a digital world. Yes, we're moving into a digital environment, but at TD Synnex, our big focus is making sure that we don't lose that human element, because relationships matter and relationships are important from a sales perspective. But platforms are front and center in terms of where we're making our investments, and we're making sure that our customers have a great experience when they work with us.
Yeah, I've heard the term recently, automation versus personalization, or sort of the humanization, the human touch. And so I have heard that there are some solution providers that love the idea, but also don't want to give up the fact that they can pick up the phone and call somebody, and get the support that you guys have been giving them for, 40 plus years, right?
It's fair, and that's fair, and we want to be able to provide both.
Yeah.
And we do provide both. So
yeah, no, I think that's important. Recently, I heard, Reyna, some of your team reference partner of the future in some of the research, that you guys have done. I know you do that study every year. For the last 3 years, I've seen it anyway. Talk to me a little bit about that, because I think that's really interesting and going to be important as we move forward.
So part of our role as a distributor is that we spend a lot of time listening and observing and being able to anticipate the way the market's moving, our customer and partner needs. And we've garnered that and started getting a view of that through our direction of technology report. That's what you were referencing. Yeah. And so what we found is there is an evolving partner type that we've noticed. Many years, specialization is very important. It remains important, but the lines have blurred. And so we see partners finding the need to scale technology. So there are very few pure play security partners, for example, or pure play cloud partners, or pure play, any partner. And they're starting to have to scale technology landscape and develop a lot of capability and a lot of skill. And so we're observing this partner type, and they need to be supported differently. They need different tools. They need to be enabled differently. And so we're looking at our structure, we're looking at our programs, we're looking at our tools so that we could effectively support them. And so right now we're calling them the partner of the future. That's probably not the best term, but what it suggests is that these are partners who are leaning on us to build capability that they might not quite have right now because it's a newer business or a new technology. And that's the beauty of distribution. It's our job not to be one thing. It's our job to have to be many things so that we're ready for these moves in the market. And that's what's happening right now with this partner of the future.
Yeah. So, and I've been reading some about, it seems like they're becoming more of a general contractor and much more engaged in being able to deliver, obviously at the end of the day, the total solution. But in a lot of cases, and I know because I spent 2 years on the solution provider side, I didn't have the financial wherewithal to make the investments in all the areas I needed to make the investment in. So I couldn't build, and this was going back 7, 8 years ago, for example, a really good cloud practice or a really good, well, certainly AI now practice, because you're talking about, probably $1 million of investment when you 3 or 4 people. So you guys have got to be the ones that begin to provide that and get them over the hump to get them to the point where they are able to, build that practice.
Well, that's the catalyst for sort of relaunching our community program now PartnerLink, and a big part of that new PartnerLink program is addressing this customer base, their needs, and being able to make sure that they have access to those, as you had mentioned, engineering, resources, tools, and even OEMs that they don't currently have today. So they'll lean on us until they can build that practice. And whether it's a security partner who now has to understand cloud and platforms, or whether it's a data focused customers who have to scale to understand security, we'd be able to provide them the support that they need. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I think that's really important. So, going back to the platform a little bit, Jessica, in terms of how you're thinking about it, when the partners are, in other words, talk to me a little bit about how you're driving the marketing activities through, and part of the platform, because I think that's a really important point here, because I think as we move forward, that what we knew as the traditional ways of marketing are beginning to change. And people like me, who are used to the old school way of doing it, aren't, we're trying to kind of keep up. What are you seeing, and how are you thinking about that?
I think platforms and marketing certainly go hand in hand. I think it's a number of things, right? We are doing things like creating content that our sales reps can take and deliver out via social media channels that point our partners directly back into our systems to make a purchase. I mean, it is a closed loop cycle. We're able to advertise within our platform. We're able to, drive additional click rates based on data. And I think that's the big driver behind all of it, right? You mentioned it earlier, we're the largest distributor. And so that means that we've got an immense amount of data. And so I think behind the platforms and behind marketing, we are doing a better job of leveraging our data. And what do I mean by that? It is looking at propensity to buy. It is showing partners where they have opportunity, where they may not know that they have opportunity. It is managing a renewals life cycle from beginning to end and showing partners where they have upsell capabilities. It's all of those things, and the platform supports it and provides that great experience that we were talking about earlier. But I mean, I really think what I really see is data as the driver, Frank. I mean, that is what we've all got to do a better job of. It's where we're making investments in people and licensing and platforms and capabilities. It's all data driven.
I couldn't agree more. And that's kind of where I was going, because from my standpoint, I see platform 3 things. I see the ability to streamline the business process, which clearly it does that, right?
Sure.
The ability to provide an online, marketplace, which it does that. But the third and the big differentiator is the data piece, because
That's right.
once you guys start helping your customers, and you've been doing it for years, but I mean, really leveraging 40 years worth of data to help them on here's a transaction ready to happen. Go call somebody, Mr. Solution Provider, because this
That's
is
right.
ready to go down, right?
That's
a big
right.
deal. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I think that's a huge deal. So this kind of question to both of you, obviously, and anytime you take a new role, particularly when you replace two, frankly, industry legends, right? Like Peter and Bob, there's a transition period. And I'm sure one of the transitions, or a big part of it, is talking to your customers and to your vendors, right? So what are you hearing? Not necessarily in terms of, you guys in the transition, but in terms of what are they saying in terms of the marketplace, the opportunities, what's happening? What are you hearing from your customers? Because I think that's a big factor nowadays.
Yeah, I can start, Jessica. So
Sure.
I think, Frank, I'll go out on a limb and say it's anybody's game right now. There's quite a bit of disruption in the IT market. It's a race to understand who has the better widget, call it platforms. It's a race to address that unattended customer who is emerging. It's a race to align to the next big bet, the next big vendor. And so I think what I'm hearing from partners, and what I'm actually, it's not necessarily what I'm hearing, what I'm being asked by partners and what I'm being asked by vendors is our guidance on how they, where they should move, where they should focus, and how they access that opportunity. So we're in a great position. Distribution in general, TD Synnex specifically, we're in a great position to be able to influence some of the outcomes. So I love this time in the market, and I think this is where distribution and TD Synnex can be leaned on by our partners to be able to access those pools of opportunity, to unlock those opportunities, to leverage our scale, to leverage our capability, to leverage our tools, and to leverage our significant ecosystem to be able to solution and drive those opportunities.
Yeah. And they're pretty positive. The folks I talk to are really excited, a little bit nervous to your point, because it is up for grabs, right? But excited also because it's a huge opportunity that's out there.
And one more thing, and then Jessica, I'll let you comment. Platforms alone is not going to do it. Our strategy is not just about platforms, although we stand behind a very robust, value-rich, operationally efficient platform. Platforms alone is not going to do it. Platforms with enablement is the right combination. And so when we talk about platforms, we're talking about platforms and specialization and enablement and the right support. Because it's not about if you build it, they will come.
Yep.
So in many cases, we've got to remain in the selling cycle. We're a critical component of that selling cycle. Platforms alone is not enough.
Yeah, no, I think it's well said. Jessica, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Reyna really hit the nail on the head with her last comment, because what I'm hearing from partners is lots of, I like what you said, Frank, kind of nervous excitement because there's so much opportunity. But I think that partners, they worry about their ability to keep up with the pace of the innovation. And I think that's fair, right? I mean, things are happening very quickly. They want to make sure that they're building the right capabilities. They want to make sure that they're hiring the right talent. They want to make sure that they're doubling down and investing with the right vendor partners, and they don't have all the answers, and that's okay. And I think that's certainly where we come in. So for me, what I'm hearing is, please help us get enabled on, AI in these specific areas. Please help me understand what the hardware refresh cycle should look like when it comes to, AI moving some things back to on-prem to account for security that's going to be needed with AI. It's our ability to provide the subject matter expertise and really provide a kind of meet them where they are approach in terms of getting them enabled. Because some partners are very skilled in some of these emerging technologies, and some are more skilled than they think they are. And I think it's us helping to show them, no, you're there. You just need to get enabled in these 3 key areas, and here, let us help you do it. That's how we build our enablement programs, and that's what partners are really hungry for.
Yeah, and it's very different than what it used to be, because in the past it used to all be about the box, right? And
Well,
you know,
sure,
the
yeah. How
box.
quickly can you get it? How low can you
Right.
price it? And
Right.
yeah, exactly.
And now it's a totally different deal. So,
Yeah.
okay, so last question. We're kind of getting to the end here. You obviously have your big event coming up in, I think it's September, right?
Yes.
Right. Talk to me a
Yes.
little bit about that. What you expect to provide your, the vendor community, customers, because I know, everybody I'm talking to is going, and people are starting to make their plans. So,
Well, good.
yeah,
Good.
yeah.
I can speak to that a little bit, and then Reyna, of course, comment as well. We are doing, I mentioned earlier, right at the very beginning, that we're focused on a modern marketing approach. So I think you got. Our attendees are going to hear a lot of that. How are we helping our partners bring solutions to market? What are we doing that's unique? How are we structuring our programs for our vendors to make them more customizable and scalable while incorporating services and AI and the partner link community and all of those things? So we are taking a very refreshed approach to how we are bringing marketing deliverables specifically to our vendor partners. And then I think from a customer perspective, they can expect to hear a lot more around the innovation that we're bringing from an AI accelerator program standpoint, from Digital Bridge, from all things digital, really. So we are going to have quite a bit of exciting things to talk to people about right here in Greenville. So we certainly hope everybody's able to join us. Reyna, anything from your perspective?
Yes, so we want to continue to lead in the markets that we serve. And as I mentioned earlier, we want to be that destination for innovation. And so it's our intent to leverage Inspire and that opportunity to be able to demonstrate how we're doing that. All the things that we've talked about are going to be topics of discussion: cloud, everything as a service, digital platforms, lifecycle management, all of those things. So we want to be able to demonstrate how our investments in digital and AI are going to serve the partner community. I'm looking forward to that event. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah,
It's a favorite.
Yeah, no, I let me tell you, there's a lot of people that look forward to it. And it runs just about I think the entire week, really, at the end of September.
It runs the entire week.
Yeah.
We take over downtown, which is still a top 10 downtown in the nation.
Yeah.
And it's going to be good.
Yeah, it is. Well, look, this has been great. I really appreciate the time both of you have taken out of your busy schedules. Obviously it's a really good transition. Both of you have now been in the roles for a while, and things are going good. So keep it up, and thank you for taking the time.